Dear Gore community, so I'm sitting here with Uwe, and I hope I say his name correctly since it's German. Uwe is, let's say, coordinating is probably the best way of saying. He started the project Premium Collar, which is a company, I would say, very special in Germany, who operates in similar manner to us with democratic consensus, which is even meaning that anybody can veto any decision. And the company's currently up and running in Germany, selling roughly 1 million bottles a year, if I understand correctly. And so Uwe was nice enough to come and visit us here in London to share with us all the experience that he had over the past 12 years working with Premium Collar. And you can find more information on his company as he's got a TED Talk as well in English, explaining a little bit more in detail how he does. Today I think we're going to review a little bit and discuss with Uwe the community aspects, how his community works, what's a few elements that he's learned. I mean, over the past days he's transferred an incredible amount of knowledge to us, and we want to just show a little bit of elements that we think are interesting in the course of a short interview. Uwe, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the kind of atmosphere that you try to set in your community, the interaction, the dynamics that you try to have in the exchange of emails that you have with your community.
Okay, at first you can also refer to me as Uwe, so it's also good, but Uwe was perfectly correct. Well, I founded the company more than 12 years ago. Over the need, I felt at least that the usual so-called normal industry and businesses would not create equality for the people working within, and also not equality for the people being dependent on the company, like suppliers and wholesalers and dealers, and also no equality for the consumers. And back at that time I was an angry consumer, disappointed by secret changes of formula by a cola recipe I liked, and they secretly changed it, so I got angry and kind of funded my own company trying to do better. And from day one, this meant that we had tried to do consensus democracy, which meant inviting every stakeholder to every decision and discussing until everybody agrees.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, it is.
So how did you do that?
During the first year, I invited everybody to a local club, which is called Golden Poodle Club, and we sat there every Sunday evening and talked on every issue which might come across. And by doing so, we came to quite different decisions than the usual company would do. For example, we kicked out profits, we kicked out volume discounts, but instead introduced anti-volume discounts for the small dealers. We don't do any advertising, we have no visible logo, so there's plenty of decisions being done differently than the usual company would do. And after 1 year we moved this to an online emailing list with all the advantages and disadvantages that has. And until then we managed to continue that way in consensus democracy, and we only had 2 incidents over the years where we couldn't reach consensus. And these 2 incidents were discussion of the art picture on the inside of the bottles labels and a line of text on the outside of the bottles labels. And everything else, from the strategy to the costing structure to the shares to everything, has been done in consensus.
And that's quite amazing because you've got over 100 people following the emails and that can at any point put a veto and say, I don't want this to happen. And these people are from various backgrounds. I mean, they can be the consumers, as you said. I mean, they're stakeholders. Various stakeholders is the best way to put it. So they obviously have different interests, yet I think what's special in your approach is you really try to meet the interests of everyone. And the way I see it anyway, and correct me if I'm wrong, you feel you never need to back up to fit. You can always find a solution to fit the interests of everyone, and most of the time I think you manage to do that.
That's right. I'm trying to create a kind of discussion climate and also a co-working with everybody climate, where it's not about negotiation and everybody's trying to push forward his advantage, but about open hands and trying to find solutions in the interest of everybody. So the usual so-called normal capitalism style of doing business, like pushing and arguing and caring for his own advantage and nothing else, I think we should kick this out, because it's basically unhuman just to do so. I think in the human nature in itself, it's more like being cooperative, caring for each other, and finding solutions everybody can agree on.
So obviously one of the things that pops on mind straight away is if there's over 100 people you can veto very easily, we'd assume that people do a lot more. I think thanks to the fact that you take care of the interests of everyone, that doesn't happen that much, if I understand correctly, or?
In my personal view, humans are in general good, and there's only a very minor percentage of people who don't want to come to a solution, but 99.5% of humans will be helpful and want a solution if you treat them fairly. And in my experience, also like I pointed out in the talk at Halt Business School, I was honored to hold. We have a veto like once a year or something, a real hard veto that we cannot decide. And every other discussion is being reviewed and rediscussed and re-talked about. But usual discussion processes with our approach take 1 week or so. So it's pretty efficient in a way, and it's also hopefully more social than the normal company would do.
I think also what's fascinating with the approach is that what you often mention is sustainability, and while sustainability might often mean to some people ecology, they might mix them up a little bit. I think if I understand your approach as well, and is that because you take care of the interests of everyone, and that because all stakeholders' interests are taken care of, then the model can go on, and as soon as there's an unbalance, it's very quickly rebalanced by a stakeholder expressing his any issues that he's facing. So the sustainability kind of means it can go on for a long time because it readjusts to the needs of everyone. Does that make sense? I mean, is there something you might want to know?
I think this style of managing a company is in itself more stable than having a 5-year plan with certain steps to reach in the meantime, because it's possible to kind of re-pick up any decision at any given time and rediscuss this when some condition from the outside might have changed. That's one aspect. And the other aspect would be sustainability in itself is about balance between ecological, economical and social decisions. And we do have to take into account every field, and we also have to take into account the humans who not yet can raise their voice, like children and the children of children, because they will have to live with the world we hand over to them. So in a way we kind of have to not only do sustainability, but we also have to do economy for the common purpose, and we also have to come to a kind of post-growth society actually to leave the world as a better place than we have it now.
Uwe, let me ask you, what is the next step, either for Premium Color or Cola, or generally for the movement of which you're definitely one of the key leaders today in consensus democracy? And
Well, our approach is open source, so put on the homepage and for everybody to copy and use and rewrite and so on. And 18 other companies did until now, and hopefully Agora will do so as well, I don't know yet.
Okay.
And my approach is to share this style of running a company and make it accessible, and hopefully having it copied from several other companies, and by proving it's possible to run a company like that, hopefully encouraging consumers to demand this from other companies, and hopefully motivating other companies to work similar as well.
And is there anything you'd like to share with the Agora community today?
Yeah, I did. I had the honor to get to know you for the past days, and my impression is these guys mean what they're saying, so my impression is you're honest guys, so hopefully you will hopefully manage to run the company. And what I can bring to the table is it is really possible to run a company in a very democratic way, and it depends on either the founders and the so-called managers of the company, but it also depends on the community, because without the community this is just an idea and nothing else. So both parts are needed, so you are needed.
Thank you very much, Uwe. Thanks.